Today we're at the ADA Gallery in Niigata, Japan. This is where ADA began, and today we're going to take a look at all of their tanks inside. So let's go and tour this place. As you walk into the ADA Gallery, you're greeted with this 3.5-meter aquarium created by Takashi Amano many years ago. In fact, 20 years have passed since the stone arrangement was created by Takashi Amano shortly after the Nature Aquarium Gallery opened on 19th July 2003. Hakkai stone was one of Amano's favorite materials for using in the Nature Aquarium. Now moving on into the gallery. Before that, we've got to take a look at this photograph taken by Takashi Amano. You can just see just so much detail in it, and I love how the water looks like it's glowing. My friend actually noticed that first, but it's the spotlight that you can kind of see in the reflection there lighting it up. So I thought that was pretty neat. Here you can see this is the room where all the aquariums are in, and you can just see how many people there are today visiting. If you ever get the chance to visit the Nature Aquarium Gallery, I highly recommend it. You've gotta come visit this place at least once and just look at all these tanks. But the first tank we'll look at is this one right here. It's another iwagumi layout created by Takashi Amano. It is one of 3 of his iwagumi pieces remaining in the Nature Aquarium Gallery. Stones and the stone arrangement, being unmoving, are said to be the components that convey the creator's intent unchangingly. The aquascape takes on different moods depending on the plant management. This next tank here is pretty cool, one of my favorites for sure. When I saw this, it just reminded me of the old school Takashi Amano style aquascape. If you look in his books, you'll see images that just this tank resembles. Even though this tank wasn't created by Takashi Amano, it just looks so amazing. The theme of this aquascape is stability and life force. As if its roots are hanging down, the shape of the driftwood used here imparts a feeling of stability, an image of time passing. Life force, the aquascape's flow, is expressed in the upward twisting driftwood. Here you can see the back of a tank that we'll take a closer look at later, and you can see a few more tanks in the background there. But just look at this 𝗃𝗀𝗀𝗀𝘀𝗀𝘀 just growing so well. And over here you can see some of that philodendron Papua New Guinea just growing out of the water, drooping down, just giving it an even more natural feel. This tank here is a smaller setup, maybe a size that more of us are familiar with. Walking along the forest's waterside, you come across a lone stone or a piece of driftwood lingering, and in that exquisite balance of growth of its huddling plants and space, you feel something essential. This is the state which inspired this aquascape. Now we'll move on to some larger tanks. This one here looks like a piece just taken out from nature. I think at the root of my desire to create a Japanese aquascape is my longing to return. The waterside I left in the memories of my childhood. It is always kind, beautiful. To reflect that image, I aimed for a calm aquascape, one to make observing the fish enjoyable. This next tank is one of the most popular aquascape in the Nature Aquarium Gallery, and also probably in the world, because this iwagumi layout was Takashi Amano's last creation. The stone arrangement is left unperturbed, but the aquatic plants change accordingly as the aquascape is cared for. Set in the center of the Nature Aquarium Gallery, this aquarium may be said to be the spiritual pillar of ADA. Even now, Takashi Amano's energy is conveyed to those who stand before it. And moving on to the tank next to it, you'll see it's a completely different style using various kinds of aquatic plants and the density of plants in here. A main feature of this aquascape is the part with the 3 rows of driftwood in the center. Unique hornwood pieces of different sizes have been combined to strengthen the impression and express depth. In order to suppress the unnaturalness of that combination, several species of moss were mixed and made to take root on it. Plants such as ferns and tape-shaped aquatic plants have been chosen, mainly 𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗀𝗀𝘀, which with long-term maintenance instill a tenor of calm. This next tank is the only 90cm aquascape in the ADA Gallery, created with the viewpoint of the various plants growing on a huge fallen tree found during fieldwork taken as a motif. For that, driftwood was made to lie boldly from the back of the tank to the opposite corner. With a sense of clarity, fresh-looking plants aggregate in the background, giving a standing out effect to the silhouette of the fallen tree in the foreground. Using unzan stone as a backbone stone with epiphytic plants such as Microsorum and Hygrophila grown onto it. 𝗲𝘂𝗀𝘀𝗀𝘀 midori and 𝗲𝘂𝗀𝗀𝘀𝗀𝘀 akari, with their pale hues and dainty leaves, are for the most part used as background plants. In this production of a mysterious world, a bold, bark-exposed piece of driftwood has been placed in the middle of a green-covered composition purposefully in a way that its silhouette clearly emerges. In this Sanzon iwagumi, the Oya-ishi, main stone, Fuku-ishi, substone, and Soi-ishi, tertiary stone, are placed to the right of the center of gravity. To the left are two stones arranged to respond to the power of the main stone. By not mounding the soils on either end, the aquascape's width can be felt, even extending left and right beyond the size of the tank. In this aquascape, I prioritize getting a collection of all sorts of my own favorite aquatic plants to live together in a way that brings out each's individuality. 1 year has passed since this aquascape was created, and with each plant's growth, a naturality has emerged that just can't be an expression of human management. This next tank I personally felt was one of the more popular tanks in the gallery. I'm imagining a scene of a driftwood just washed up in the rising waters of a mountain stream steeped in the red of autumn. It's no exaggeration to say that the scenery in the natural world is created by the force of water. Here, I try to imagine that drama of driftwood born in water. This final 120cm tank is a classic example of a nature-style triangle composition aquascape. An aquascape expressing the underwater world's gentle flow of time. Fish swim peacefully, between vivid aquatic plants swaying in the water. The space of many different aquatic plants and fish of many different colors and shapes coexisting is at once calm and bustling. Somewhere a cheeriness can be seen. Next up, we'll take a look at this tank, which personally was one of my favorites. I just love tanks that feature lots of green plants, since green is my favorite color, and it just always makes me think of nature. I envisioned and created an aquascape with tape-shaped aquatic plants as a main feature, to allow the viewer to better feel the flow of water. The fish look happy weaving their way through the dense plants. Over time, the aquatic plants got vigorous enough to conceal the composition, completing a fantastical world shining with life. This next one is a very simple iwagumi, but there's just so much in it. In a stone arrangement with Hakkai stones, there are many examples of Sanzon iwagumi arrangement. Here, however, I purposefully tried to make a break from this stone placement. For a more natural stone arrangement, I think it's important to have a flexible mindset that isn't attached to any one stone's position, and have awareness of the water's flow. The asymmetrical planting creates a lot of space, securing an area for the fish to swim, which produces a refreshing atmosphere. Here is another 60p aquarium, very beautiful, a nature aquarium-esque aquascape of beautiful aquatic plants growing luxuriantly around powerful driftwood. The planting looks complicated at first glance, but it's done with a good understanding of the characteristics of easily cultivated plants. A world woven by a great variety of aquatic plants and lustrous fish, just like a little Mother Nature. Now for the final aquascape before we take a look at some of the smaller tanks, paludariums, and terrariums. This one is also one of my favorites. Just the use of Microsorum, Physidens, Bucephalandras, and all the cryptocoryns. I really liked how grown in everything was. An aquascape incorporating plants seldom used in aquariums, such as grown largely Microsorum Windelov and growing on the driftwood Physidens fontanus. Considering that, however, the overall impression built is a classic impression which feels more nostalgic than novel. Probably that feeling is due to the time taken until completion. hope you enjoyed this video of Aqua Design Amano. This gallery is amazing. Let me know in the comments below which tank was your favorite one, and I'll see you guys next time.